This is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com. And tonight I'm going to talk about a tip for good updating experience. And what I mean by that is things that you might do to your system that actually end up causing some side effects. And here's one of them. So one of the things I recommend that you do on your system is something I call keeping with normal. Meaning have a traditional C drive. Don't move key Windows systems over to a D drive or an alternate drive. So keep everything that Windows thinks should be on the C drive to be on the C drive. So while Microsoft gives you options and often gives you registry keys to move file locations to another drive, I like to keep everything on a C drive. Now, what that ultimately means too is when I run out of space on a hard drive system, I then buy a new C drive. I buy a larger hard drive and move my things to that new location. So when you are buying a laptop, buy something with a hard drive larger than what you think you might use. You will end up using it up. Don't go less than 200 gigs of an SSD drive. You can get away with 125, 150 SSD, but you can only get away with that if you store things elsewhere, meaning like an external USB drive or up in the cloud, things like that. So watch your hard drive space. And this came up on one of our patching lists that moving the print spooler to another drive may cause issues in patching. Sometimes people move print spoolers to a different hard drive in order to speed up the process, make some room, whatever. And they found that if the spooler was set to another drive besides the C drive, the issue in updating would occur. They couldn't install the patch. It kept failing and giving an error message. Once they moved the spooler back to the C drive, back to the default expected behavior, then it installed properly. So keep that in mind when you're patching. Always have what I call the defaults. And I'll give you the link to it. It's one of the GHack site. I'll put it in the post. And you can see that it's something that people do. But like I said, I recommend keeping the core Windows systems on the C drive. Don't move things over to that D drive. So here's the post out here that talks about doing it, and you can change the default directory in the Windows registry. Now, we do quite a bit out on Ask Woody on using the registry to block certain things. That has no side effects whatsoever. This one, in this situation, did have a side effect. So some registry situations are a little more unusual. Moving drive locations, moving folder locations. Blocking such things as Windows 11 is not a big deal and does not cause a side effect. So here's a situation where I do not recommend changing a print spooler directory because it can cause issues with updating. And again, my best recommendation when you're getting to a situation where you're running out of hard drive space and it's hard to keep that system cleaned up, just buy a bigger hard drive and swap out that hard drive. Now, granted, hopefully you have either a desktop or a laptop where it's easy to take the back off the unit, take that hard drive out and swap it out. If you have something like a soldered hard drive or something like a Surface, sorry, you're going to have to buy a new computer because you literally cannot easily install a bigger hard drive in something like a Surface device. So again, look to see on your computer, can you swap out that hard drive? Can you get a bigger one? Rather than moving the spooler drive to another location. And just remember, once again, the newsletter comes out tomorrow. We are at batten down the hatches time, as I call it. MS DEF CON 2, where we want you to pause, put a deferral, do whatever means you want to say, hey, wait a sec, we're gonna hold off on installing updates. We're gonna keep an eye on things. As we know, there's a lot of things going on in the world, unfortunately, right now, and I may or may not push the date for updating. So we will keep you informed. Look for those alerts that we'll be sending out. We will be testing as quickly as possible. So should I decide to recommend that you install a little bit earlier, we'll be able to let you know if there's any side effects with the updates. Again, this is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com.